Real quick guys, I am selling the Crypto the Super Duty stickers 80% off. Click the link in the description down below if you want to pick up yourself some sticker. Once we sell out, they're gone. If we don't sell out, I'll just toss them or something like that. So go grab yourself a sticker if you want it, because I am on the way to Enterprise to turn this Ford in. All right guys, it's happening. Enterprise called me yesterday, said, Alex, we have a new truck for you. And so that means it's gonna be soon time to turn this truck in. Here's the review, or here's how much maintenance and stuff like that about this 2020 Ford F350 that has almost 75,000 miles on it. All right, so first I want to go over all the maintenance, and then I will give you my thoughts on the last almost 75,000 miles that I've had this Ford, because it is my first Ford vehicle. Okay, so maintenance, I did the oil change at 74,777. That means it's my 8th oil change, right? So during the time I've had this truck, it's had 8 oil changes, and Enterprise does every other fuel filter. So that means I've had 4 fuel filters. Wait, no, if this was my 8th one, then I should have gotten an oil change. Or no, I think I accidentally did a fuel filter one time, and so it threw it off. Instead of being evens, it's on odd, right? So your first one you do just an oil change, your second one you do oil change and fuel filter, your third one is just oil, fourth is both, and I think on the 5th one I did accidentally both again, and on the 6th one I did just oil, on the 7th I did oil and fuel filter, and brakes, which I'll talk later, but oil and fuel filter on the 7th, and this one is the 8th where it was just oil change, okay? So 8 oil changes. It should have been 4 fuel filters, but it was accidentally 5, okay? Then I also did 1 set of tires, but these tires right now, these Transforce tires that are on this truck, they're on their last leg, you know what I mean? Enterprise may have to throw on some new tread before they sell it, or they'll just sell it as is with the tires, and then whoever buys it will have to put new tires on. So so basically almost 75,000 miles, we'll call it 2 sets of tires. We'll call it, but really I only got 1 set of tires. And now moving on to the brakes, okay? This was certainly unexpected, okay? But I pulled into the garage, I'm like, hey, I hear a grinding noise. I don't know if something's stuck in the caliper or something like that. Maybe it's pads or something, whatever, check it out, okay? So they take a look at the truck, and they took a look at it, they're like, yeah, Alex, one of your calipers is seized up. Your pads are worn out, and one of your calipers is seized up. I'm like, that's not good. And that happened at 66,358 miles, right? So that was the last service, right? And I'm like, okay, so what do we need to do? And the guy, he was like, look, if you want to do it the cheapest possible, then what we could do is replace 1 caliper, 1 pad, 1 rotor, and then we'll replace both rotors, both pads, 1 caliper, and rebuild your other caliper to make sure there's no issues. But that doesn't really save you that much. And a caliper, which I was impressed, a caliper from Ford is only $155. And so I told them, like, fine, let's just do it all. And so they did 2 rotors, pads on the front, and calipers on the front, right? And for 66,000 miles, that's soon-ish. I don't know what pads Ford uses, like from the factory. Maybe they're like a cheaper pad, so maybe that's why they wore it out sooner. But then again, guys, I'm always towing, and if you recall, I've complained about this exhaust brake before. So I think a combination of always towing and not so good exhaust brake with cheaper pads from Ford, maybe that's why they didn't last that long, because it's expected to get 80 to 100,000 miles from your pads, right? And then when you're not supposed to just put pads, you're always supposed to do pads and rotors on heavy duty trucks. So so really it's a little bit sooner, but not completely out of the ordinary, to be honest, okay? So that's been done. All right, so roughly how much did it cost in maintenance to do all of this stuff? So if you figure about $400 for an oil change and a fuel filter, and about $200 just for a regular oil change, right? And that puts us at $400 times 5 is 2,000, and then that's 5 services, and then there's 3 more oil changes. That's another 600. So that's $2,600 for just the oil changes and fuel filters to get us to almost 75,000 miles. And then so 2,600 bucks. Then you factor in tires. What's 6 tires? $200 a tire probably, so that's about $1,200. I think it might be more than 200 bucks a tire, but you know, we'll call it 1,200 just for argument's sake. So that's already $3,800, and then the bill for all of the brakes, it was $1,500 for the truck, I remember now, and it was minus $400, so roughly 1,100 bucks. So we'll call it about $1,000, just for argument's sake, about 1,000 bucks for new pads, new calipers, and new rotors. So that puts us at, or it was, goodness gracious, I hit the wrong button, and it was 2,600 plus 1,200, that gives us 38, plus 1,000 gives us 4,800. Okay, so basically 5,000 bucks, like Enterprise had to pay in maintenance. Okay, had to pay. Now, if we do 75,000 miles, just out of curiosity, times 22 cents a mile, that gives us $16,500. Wow, that's a lot. So anyway, so that means I've spent on the truck 16,500 bucks, but Enterprise had to pay about $5,000 just to keep it on the road. So in reality, that's about 11.5 grand left for Enterprise. And so if you figure they bought it, I don't know how much like our entry-level Ford is, they bought it probably for 50 G's, and they'll probably sell it maybe for 40. I see, I don't understand how Enterprise makes money on this. I don't know. You guys are gonna have to comment below about this whole thing. But anyways, that's not the video. We're not talking about Enterprise. We're talking about the Ford review. This is my first Ford, my first experience. 75,000 miles. How has it been? So a couple things. Obviously, I've had it through the winter and spring, right? I picked it up right at the end of last year, and because I've had it in the cooler, colder months, I never had an issue with overheating, right? Never. Ever. So I mean, that's good. But during the summer, I could see how it would run hotter than a Cummins, or a similar truck in Cummins, I guess, right? Or a Ram with a Cummins. So but the other thing is, it is interesting how bad the DEF smells. Okay, so this is now getting into the review of the truck, right? Some of the things maybe that I haven't talked about. So on one hand, I'm glad maintenance on it is pretty cheap. The parts of it are surprisingly cheap, so that's cool. In general, the truck never left me stranded or broke down, except for that one time when those people at Firestone touched it. So yeah, but besides that, it's been absolutely amazing, and the MPG has been phenomenal. I think I probably saved thousands in fuel alone just by driving this instead of the Ram. The Ram did not get as good as fuel mileage. Okay, now a little bit of the criticisms, which is the DEF. The DEF, when it's doing a regen, smells in the cab, and you don't notice it until when you go outside and you smell it, you're like, wow, that smells bad when it's doing a regen. And when you come in, you still smell it. I don't know, it's because it smells so bad or it's so stinky or potent, I'm not sure, but it does smell in the cab when it's doing a regen, okay? So that's something you want to keep in mind. Oh, and I just remembered the last downside, okay? In my 60,000 mile or 50,000 mile video review, I talked about the stereo not working really well. And you guys commented, hold the volume power button and the track forward button to reset the stereo, okay? And honestly, that's a lifesaver, because the stereo crashes often, probably twice a day, and I just hold it, resets it, and like magic, it connects to my phone. Like, I'm in the middle of a phone call, right? And the phone gets disconnected in the middle of the phone call, and so now I hear the phone call coming through the speaker of my phone. What I do is I quickly hold it, reset it, 30 seconds, it's connected, absolutely no problem. And it works for another 5-6 hours. And then what happens, I think, is I, park the truck, leave, go to the truck stop, I take my phone with me, and then it maybe like messes up with the connection coming back and forth all the time, and so it doesn't reconnect very well. And so that pro tip, learn that thing, power/volume button and track forward, the button that's right next to the media. So you just hold those two, that resets the thing, and that is a lifesaver, because right when every time it resets, it connects flawlessly. So at least like the connection part of it is really good, but maintaining it is not so good. I wish there was a hack like that for the Rams. It frustrated me. On the Ram, the Uconnect on the Ram is way worse. And that brings me to my conclusion, right? I've now had a 2015 for 500,000 miles almost, right? And so I've also had the 2019's Rams for 100 something thousand miles, or no, it was 69 plus 28. So roughly almost 100,000 miles. And this one I've had now for 75. And I will say, I think Ford is a better truck in every single way. Like literally, guys, that is not, I'm not trying to be hyperbolic. I really think the Ford with the 10-speed, okay? I want to clarify. Ford with the 10-speed, which is 2020 and newer, is better than the Ram. Any Ram, I do not care. The Ison, the non-Ison, I don't care. The Ford is better than the Ram, okay? And we're talking about entry level. We're not talking about the super ones, the super pimped out ones or whatever. I don't really care about those. But as a work truck, the Ford is better in every single possible way. The only thing is, there's one concern, which is long-term reliability. We know for a fact that if you want to do a big service on this truck, the cab has to come off often. And the concern would be the long-term reliability. Like, you don't see Toyota going out of business. Why? Because Toyota just makes reliable cars. Sure, the Tundra and the F-150, right, when you compare them, Tundra gets way worse gas mileage. It gets, you know, I mean, it doesn't do as much towing. But the Tundra is ridiculously reliable. And that's what the Cummins is. You know, the Cummins is basically the Toyota drivetrain of heavy-duty trucks. And so the ideal perfect truck would be to stuff a Cummins in this Ford, and then it would be just the most amazing thing ever. Give me a Cummins with a 10-speed in the Ford body. There's a lot of room. This thing is lighter than the Ram. It pulls better than the Ram. It shifts better than the Ram. Guys, every single possible measurable way, this Ford is better than the Rams that I had. And it doesn't matter, Ison or not, it does not matter. It really is that good. I really, really do like this thing. Now, by no means am I saying go out and buy one. Absolutely not. If I were to buy a truck right now, I wouldn't. I would just wait until Cummins or Ram puts a 10-speed in their truck. All right, guys, that's gonna do it for this video. Make sure you're subscribed so you can see what truck I'm getting next from Enterprise, because I'm on my way there now, and I am excited about it. It's gonna be a super interesting comparison to this truck and the Ram, and so make sure you're tuned in for that, and I will see you guys in the next video. I always like hearing from you guys in the comments down below too, so yeah, peace. Wow, okay, this is something new. It looks like I have sprung a leak, and it's not from the engine or the transmission or any of that. It's from the ceiling. I just had, so you're looking right up at the ceiling. I just had water drip right onto my computer. Oh, it just dripped right there, just dripped. Look at that.